roams the starry sea. With a batlet held tight with glee, Hunt OPC his battle cry. Stars and moons light up the sky. OPC Hunt, OPC, through the cosmos wild and free. Romulans and foes we fight, community our guiding light. Battling communists with cheer, reduces courage, knows no fear. With every clash and mighty roar, victory's prize forevermore. OPC Hunt, OPC, through the cosmos wild and free. Romulans and foes we fight, community our guiding light. Battle anchor shift us soar, reduces heart and core. Galactic winds, they lead our course, unity our driving force.
Thought the music was really loud. Apologies. Anyway, woo! We're live. We're here. It is Wednesday. It is a big day because they changed up Incursions on us, but I don't know. I'm going to let you decide. I would say this. Number one, everybody going, well, they just did this because they were, feedback. People were mad, so they're not doing flashpoints. That's not true. They're still doing flashpoints. Don't worry. Your favorite event ever made is still happening. That hasn't gone anywhere. So what can this mean? I'm currently going to put this on the screen. So for those who missed, Infinite Incursions has a new format called Shattered Alliances. We're going to be talking about that today. And I got to sneeze really bad. Apologies for that, but welcome in everybody. We're going to talk about all the new events that you desperately wanted. Yes, more events. And sarcasm aside, we'll talk about whether this could be a good thing or not. And we'll get y'all's thoughts for it, as always. So, welcome in. I hope y'all having an amazing half of your week. It is Wednesday. So we're halfway through the work week for many of you, and hopefully you're having a good one. So we'll go through, and Dave says they want to close the game down. Literally not true at all. I don't know where that comes from, but sure. Yeah. Sure. Anyway, welcome in. Not clear on Incursions change other than dropping the defender attacker bonus. Well, it changed a lot, hence we're going through here. Well, basically the big thing is you're going to see is there's a week-long set of events leading up to it, which some of those have started already. And if you are not on a bye week, you'll have noticed those tabs. So for example, just to really quickly flip back and forth. So here we go right here. You've got the Hidden Influence XSLB and the Shattered Alliance Meta XSLB, which this one you're going to score with your bonus points by doing the event horizons and then building upgrades, research upgrades. And in terms of scoring, you say again, this is an XSLB. This is giving you two kinds of Scotty, a woke Scotty and a strange Scotty. So two different kinds of Scotty, as well as officer tokens, which a lot of players have been asking, when are we getting more of those officer tokens to go along with that event store? Well, there you go. Then we have another XSLB, this one giving out Carol Marcus and more of those tokens, though limited spots on a lot of these. Depending on what leaderboard you're in, there's some limited spots. This one only goes up to 25, the other one at 100. So anyway, we'll go back into this because we have several different events happening throughout the week leading up into Incursions. So I'm very big, and to say this very upfront, I'm encouraging everybody to adopt the ignore FOMO, have fun, right? Ignore FOMO, have fun. If any of these events look non-enticing, then just don't do them, right? Just don't do them at all. It's strongly recommended for two reasons, really. But one thing I want to point out, sorry, Alex was texting me. those that don't remember, on our website, revduce.com, we have a new podcast, and we were talking about that, about our next episode that we're recording for the podcast. So the Ignore FOMO Have Fun initiative that I've really been trying to push, and I'm pushing even heavier now, is simply because the game is going to continue to load up with events. For those who weren't here last time we had a big rollout, as in we know that G7 is coming. We've already seen the ISS Jellyfish of G7, this is the USS Vengeance, right? So we know that they do a very heavy monetization structure that end of year, right? So we're entering into Q3 of the fiscal year, Q4, and that time is where they're going to go really heavy into rolling out G7 and making as much money as they can, talk to their investors, everything, like, look how great we are. So because of that, you're going to see a lot more events, you're going to see a lot more things that are pay only, and that's just how it exactly was when G6 rolled out. So my initiative of the Ignore FOMO Have Fun is not just to sell merch on the merch store. It's really to get people to be able to take a step back and understand, hey, it's okay to slow down and chill out. Thank you, Emily, for dropping the podcast link. Appreciate it, Flashman. Good to see you, Major Noob. Steven, welcome in. So if y'all end up deciding, hey, I don't want to do any of this, completely understandable. I just want y'all to know that this format, it's not new. They've done this before, and trying to warn y'all of what's to come. And you do with that information what you will. So what's different this time? So every Incursions event now pays out updated loot, including officer charge and Incursion currency. So the Incursions itself will have better loot. Part of this is to help you progress through the building faster, but also because a big point of feedback for Incursions has been, if you're a PvE player, you don't want to participate at all because the rewards are trash. And if you're a PvP player, well, then you were kindly really relegated to just raiding was all that there was. And they're trying to adjust that. Whether they do a good job, we'll see in a week. But G5 and G6 players are split into separate PvP cross-server leaderboards for tighter competition. That is undoubtedly a good change. Is that enough to get people super interested in Incursions again? I don't have that answer. But last but not least, rebalance scoring in Incursions. And I want to point out, remember, Incursions is still a week away. That is, the events start today, but the PvP phase is what they're calling it, will be on the 29th. And we'll talk about the matchups here in a second. So now you have player damage points weigh heavily in server leaderboards. So damage dealt in ship-to-ship combat counts more towards your overall score than previous runs. So what this is simply trying to do is take less of an emphasis on raiding and trying to shift a little bit of that over to PvP. So, Snoot, you'd have to be very specific about what you mean by that. Greetings, Brett. Server 16. Happy Incursion pre-prep like we used to have. It's kind of like pre-prep, except it's a week-long series. So if you are non-PvP related, so you PvEers, Ops 25 and above, Shattered Alliance meta, we just looked at that, but again, you're gonna be bracketed based on what Ops level you are. Earn points by placing in the different Alliance PvP and non-PvP XSLB events. You have Hidden Influence, which is upgrading buildings and spending faction currencies, acquiring Syndicate XP, and you get to claim Wrath of Khan Carol shards and Officer Depot tokens. That's the one we just looked at. That's the one that starts today. It says tomorrow, but today. You have Forbidden Insight, score by upgrading research, artifacts, and Forbidden Tech. Again, to earn Wrath of Khan Carol shards and Officer Depot tokens. Self-Space Arsenal, upgrading ships for more Carol shards and Officer Depot tokens. And then Event Horizon by spending materials. That'll be earning Strange World Scotty and Officer Depot tokens. So that is this upcoming weekend. You just had a weekend where you weren't earning Scotty, really, 2 weekends ago, and now we have Scotty. And then Alliance leaderboards. Now there is a PvP schedule. This is all going to be for the actual event, the phase of PvP as they were calling it. So if you're not on a buy, you'll have the Incursions, and there will be the Raider, Champion, and Damage XSLBs, and the All Out War SMS. Every PvP engagement, win or lose, earns milestone progress with bonus points for fights in open systems. So basically what you have is kind of what chat was talking about earlier, these prep events, but now they're week-long XSLBs, and here are your pairings. We'll go through those. Hard to hear over the music. The music's not even on right now, Steve. It's not even on. It's just the event series they ran last week with XSLB and without SMS. To an extent, a little bit different, didn't it? But there are definitely similarities. So every server's on Tuesday. Yeah, everybody's Incursion, the actual Incursion, everybody's on Tuesday. Everybody will be on the 29th, which is a different day. We're not used to running these on Tuesdays. Usually they run on Friday. We used to have them on Saturdays. This is literally just straight up everybody on Tuesday, which I guess is fine because that is the non-territory day. One complaint about Incursions from a lot of players was that it was, hey, you're always doing it on the day that we have territory. So now you have it on the day that has no territory matchups. We'll see if that ends up being better or not. Again, I'm kind of indifferent to this. I don't think this is a bad change. I don't think it's a good change yet. I will see how it runs. I do like getting officer shards, and I do like the officer tokens having some form of sourcing. But my biggest concern so far is that the brackets are pretty limited in terms of number of participants. So now Michael says in cats is too much. That's why you need to adopt the ignore FOMO, have fun. Remember, just because there's every event in the world doesn't mean you have to do them. Ignore them if you don't want to. That is something that players in this game have got to learn. Ignore the events you don't want to do. Remember, you can never fall behind in Star Trek Fleet Command because you cannot catch up. You can never fall behind because you can never catch up. So as soon as we can convince players, I was actually talking to a level 70 about this today, how he's trying to teach his group this. You can never catch up, so you can never fall behind. If you see something of value to you, do it. If you don't see value, do not do it. The same thing with like these new events. If you were already going to say upgrade your ships, okay, we'll just do that on the 26th. If you were already going to do research artifacts and forbidden tech, well then just go ahead and do that on the day. But if you weren't going to do it, then don't worry about it. Just completely ignore it. So for example, on this event, am I going to try by upgrading buildings? Nope, I'm not doing none of this except my normal pulls, and I will score where I score. And if I get in this, then fantastic. If I do not, also fantastic. Right? So you got to find what you enjoy. You got to find what you enjoy. You can also do like Emily does, just ignore it completely. But that is where I really am working hard on to get into the player base's mind. You do not have to do events. And there's this lie that gets perpetuated by Scopely that makes you believe, well, if I do all the things, then I'll catch up. No, you will not. You will not catch up. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You're not catching up because next month more stuff comes out, right? I've already seen the Strange New World stuff for next month. Guess what? There's a lot more stuff. There's some predictable stuff coming out too. If you can predict what's coming out for Transition next month, I'll give you a thumbs up. You know, but it's pretty predictable. So, spoiler alert, the month after is also going to happen. And then the month after is also going to happen. New content will not stop coming. So you can never catch up. You can never fall behind. Do what is enjoyable for you, right? So for me, if I was going to do my Syndicate XP, which I will, and factions, then I would go ahead and take advantage of that. Like I'll do this, but I'm not going to go above and beyond. But if that ends up meaning that I get more Officer Depot tokens, fantastic. And that's how I view this Incursions edition. The main thing about the Incursions change that I'm honestly interested in is actually going back to the very top of this. So, woo-woo. And that's this right here. How rebalanced will the scoring be? Will that actually make it helpful? Is the real question. Will it make it helpful? Like, will I be able to do more than just have a whale lower their shield? Because, you know, Miss Nemesis, for example, they always do that. Miss Nemesis is always blowing Incursions, and they're always causing us to lose. Can we now prevent that? Can I hit enough players in PvP, and can I have enough PvP fights that score enough value to make up for the fact that Miss Nemesis will not stop throwing Incursions? If that's not the case, then this doesn't really help at all. That's really the main thing I'm interested in here. Now, if you are different, let me know. I can take my medicine. All right. Denwood says prediction. They consolidate Transition to one type to mine and canisters to one type to farm. I wish. I wish. Yeah. Short answer is no. We'll see. Like I said, Denwood, I'm not going to discount it until I see it, but the scoring would have to be adjusted pretty heavily in favor of PvP damage dealt to influence the current system. For those who don't do a lot of the new Incursions or the previous Incursion runs, I mean, it's pretty exclusively rating, and you know, and not to be offensive or like call out our Sigma players, but it really comes down to our Sigma players. And again, I'm not singling y'all out because I think y'all are bad people. It's just when it comes to who's going to influence it, it's Sigma players getting rated. Whoever raids the most or most lucrative Sigma player is the server that has been winning Incursions for 2 years now. And if this system changes that a little bit, that could be a good thing. right? And again, it's not calling out Sigma players and saying y'all are bad people. It's just the fact that y'all have the most stuff. And one of y'all deciding that you're going to just pass out, blackout drunk Tuesday night and not shield that night, you give up 4 quadrillion points. And I get it. It's your right to be blackout drunk. Just please hit a 24-hour shield before you get blackout drunk. I'm an American. I respect your right to live your life however the heck you want to. I really don't give a heck, right? I just need you to hit a shield first. Like, seriously, I want you to have all your bottles of your loveliest $1,000 alcohol you can afford, because if you can buy a Vengeance, you can probably have alcohol more expensive than my house. Just hit a shield first. That's all I'm begging you. Please, shield first. Anyway, no judgment. Just hit that little button right over there. See, kids today don't even know how easy you have it. When we first started this game, that didn't exist. Y'all want to know how we used to have to do shields back in the day with Grandpa and me? We had to go into our items menu. We had to scroll down here and find, I don't even remember where they're at anymore. We had to go down here. We had to look for them in our other, and we had to manually go activate them here. It's like if your base was getting raided, you had to oh crap, items menu, and then pray to the gods of Star Trek Fleet Command that it worked. You kids today have no idea how good you got it. Anyway, so we'll see how this changes Incursions. I really don't know how much or if at all it will improve Incursions. But I will say Incursions, like PvP Arenas, has needed drastic changes for some time. And I think everybody in the chat agrees with that. It is desperately needed changes and updating. We'll see if that ends up being the case. So, Brigadier says, that's the deal if other players purposely leave their bases unshielded. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if that ends up being the response. I mean, this is something that Scope has been talking about a lot. And I know in the VIP Discord they've talked about it. I know in dev chats they've talked about it. What do you do for the players who are purposely throwing incursions, right? The players who maybe are really upset with their opponents, and or maybe Miss Nemesis is really salty about certain animals in their Discord, and they're saying, screw it, I'm gonna make everybody lose. What do you do to counter that? Well, the only way to really try to counter that in terms of scoring metrics for Incursions is PvP damage, right? I also still advocate that there needs to be more PvE scoring things in Incursions, but at the end of the day, Incursions is meant to be a pure PvP mechanic. Now, I also would be really open to all of y'all's advice and thoughts on this as well. So, Old Man says, I usually use all of my resource tokens and move to territory when Incursions start. See, Old Man, that he's one of the problems. But you know what? Maybe this helps overcome the Old Man. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. So I don't honestly know. Do we know when Alliance tournaments are coming? So I talked to Paulie about that this morning, and there's nothing official out yet in terms of they don't have an announcement out. I can go ahead and tell you it's after Incursions, but I begged him. I'll actually read verbatim what I told Paulie. For those that don't know who I'm talking about Sim Paulie, who is one of the community managers for STFC. Specifically, what I said is, because he was like, hey, Incursions post is about to go live in a few minutes. I was like, but we want Alliance tournaments. Incursions is bleh. That's literally what I responded. People want the Alliance tournament post, which I'll be honest is pretty funny, because we went back-to-back Alliance tournaments and that was too much. And now they're like, oh, fine, you don't get it at all. And we don't have an announcement. So yeah, there you go. Voidling says, should I scrap my Revenant while I'm Ops 45 or 50 or wait till 51 plus? I'm wondering if I do it at 45 or 50, if it'll give me G5 uncommons. It will. So it doesn't matter when you scrap it. The Revenant payouts are locked to the Revenant mark. So if you're scrapping Mark 2, then you're going to have those 10 days of G5 pulse, regardless of what level you do it at. So if you do it at 50, you do it at 45, rewards are identical. You can do it now, which would allow you to jump ahead and say, do some G5 primes, like primes that cost G5 mats that you can't normally afford in G4. You can now get them thanks to the Revenant. So, different question. Anybody else having problems with today's missions? I've not tried them yet, but we can try them on screen and see if I have any issues with today's missions. So let's try those out. All right, we accepted that. We're gonna do one at a time just to see if we can track there being a problem with any of these. Oh, that's reached stage 4. Oh, that's just the replacement event, isn't it? Yeah, I can't do that one. So let's move on to the next one. move on to the next one. Playing that one, see what this one is. There we go. We should be able to do that. Cool, we got that done. Scopely keeps trying to do alliance tournaments after choice rewards expire. I mean, let's be honest. Every event in Star Trek Fleet Command, they would like to earn money. In terms of big events, do they really care if daily events make money? No. But things like incursions, alliance tournaments, etc., we're fooling ourselves if we think those aren't designed for money, right? Obviously, they want something to get sold there. So, do I think that every time they run AT, they try to purposely make sure it's outside of choice? No. But is it to their benefit if it's outside of choice? Yes, it is. It is to their benefit. Just like we saw them make adjustments to temporal disruptors, right? We threw a big kerfluffle about it. We argued with them about it, and they reversed their policy on automatically doing the temporal disruptors. But, you know, it's certainly an obvious truth that they want these big style events to make money. I mean, they just do. So, yeah. You might have answered whilst I was in that. Have they said anything about miners recalling home today? They have not. No, they have not. I'm waiting on that. In fact, let me bug Polly about that because they have not made an official post about that. They did say it was a known issue early this morning, but they have not released anything like in terms of an official comp. So let me just ask, will there be a comp for the recall of the night? Players like myself lost tokens. All right, I pinged to remind them this. They did make a post 8 hours ago, which said they recognized it was an issue, but they have not said anything about comping anybody for it. So I just re-pinged them while we were chatting. That works, right? That's what we're here for. We can do it right now, right here. So, can I Gorm wormhole in a deeper token transit system? No. Well, yes. I mean, you would have to spend multiple tokens, but yes, you can summon into token systems with lower warp range, but you have to use 2 tokens to do that. And why would you want to do that? Would be my question. Mentioned in the incursion post. Did they mention that in the incursion post? It must be at the bottom and I didn't see that. Where is it at? I didn't even see that. I mean, I'll take your word for it. Or are you saying they put it in the official post on the Discord? All right, yeah. Okay, so you put it in the Discord post. Noted. Yeah, so I asked if we're getting a comp specifically. Here's the reason I don't like that wording. I get it, cool. You're investigating the issue. But I need to know that I'm getting comped for the issue. And call me a salty content creator. Been too many times where we're like, hey, we identified an issue and we fixed it, and then nobody got comped for the problem. Shout out to all the people who are still waiting for their Mantis comp, 17 years later. So I like to really push the word comp, make sure that we're getting, something for the problems. Okay, good to see you. Why they not open up all the augment refits instead of the certain ones? I have no answer for that. Already received a comp chest for transit token, or is this about other miners? So Frizz, you got a comp chest for yesterday, which was a planned maintenance. But it happened again last night, which wasn't planned. So that is what is being asked about. That's what's being asked about. Responding to War Parrot, who hit me OPC, and I was proud of him. He got some good juice. Shout out to War Parrot. Let me go down to this. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find War Parrot. So War Parrot, that's me hunting OPC. Right here. War Parrot hit me for 3.6 million OPC. Shout out to War Parrot. I had left it in the token system. Just how long is it going to take? But he got me 3.6 million OPC, and I was proud of it. That's awesome. That's a great hit. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. That's a lot, and that's good stuff. I couldn't resist either. Is there a spreadsheet detailing costs of Galactica claims? No, there's not, Derp. I mean, it's in STFC.space, and also it's in the game, but well, I guess the cost isn't. That would start warning our server, then you just got a bad server. What can I say? What can I say? Server needs to be better. Get gooder, server. I was proud of it. All right. Questions, comments? Do y'all have anything else about the incursions thing? I want to make sure all incursions questions get answered. about the new Incursions format. If y'all don't have Incursions questions, we can talk about whatever. I just want to make sure folks don't get left behind on that because they have changed the format a little bit. It's mainly just a, hey, spend more money thing, but still, want to make sure you got it. What's my ISO damage now? 278.5 static. Still not where I want it to be, but working on it. 278.5 static. Now, I did take down a Velox earlier when I was OPC hunting. I did do that. They had their Velox there guarding their ship, and I was like, nay, no, you can't guard this. It's mine now. So then I took down the Velox, and then after I took down the Velox, I got that juicy OPC. It was good stuff. Is this a test or permanent change? Great question, Weero. Every first change is a test. However, the idea is that this will be the new format rolling forward, barring massive mistakes. Now, what I expect to be key feedback, and this personally what I'm already of a very vocal opinion of, some of these XSLBs, I know they're XSLBs, so already from the get-go, we're acknowledging XSLB means spend event. However, I want to point something out real quick. Some of the number of spots on this XSLB are terrible. 25 people, that's it. 25 people, that's all. 25. That's silly. 25 people. No, thank you. That's not enough, right? Come over to the other XSLB, 100, which is better, still not great. For an XSLB, remember, XSLB is cross-server leaderboard. So Star Trek Fleet Command, server 20, which one I'm on, it alone has over 2,000 active players on it. We're going against server 26, which is also a pretty active server. And for G5 accounts, that means we're easily talking. And let's just go on the conservative number and say that there's 700 G5 players in that range. That means a vast majority are going to get left out of any type of reward. Just not good. Now, again, I completely agree. If you see the words heroic or SLB or LB, those are spin design mechanics. Same time, I think that there should be opportunity for more people in a group to earn something. Even if all I'm going to get is 3 officer shards and 5,000 officer depot tokens, I need to get something. And again, maybe I'm alone in that gripe. So, sourcing for Hazard Exocomp isn't. If you're G5 and below, congrats, you have none. Now, has that been brought up to them? Yes, it has. Multiple versions of that have been brought up, including Alliance-based Hazard Exocomps. So, how you doing, BER? It says Incursions is STFC holiday where you don't need a shield for a day, right? That is correct. Yes, if you're on server 26, remember this upcoming Tuesday, July 29th, that is official no shield day in STFC. Celebrate on a server 26 near you. Yeah, it's no shield day. Great day to go out and be with family and friends and not play Star Trek Fleet Command while not having a shield up on server 26 specifically. So you definitely agree with that. Nothing more annoying than trying to participate in a leaderboard and barely missing a reward. Exactly. Like, I would rather you extend leaderboards out and say, hey, there's 200 winners, but you replace 195, you barely get anything. It's still the fact that I do some level of work, regardless of how much work I do, and it's a response of, well, you get nothing. If I did some work towards the event, I should get something. I think that's something that probably most people in this chat will agree on, just from the bare necessities of life. Quoting Disney movies now. If you participated at any level, you should get something for that participation. And I don't really feel like that's a controversial statement. You should get something for your participation. So I think those boards should extend out much further than they currently do. I gotta wait 3 hours for so many of these. My Atlanta. Oh boy, all my things are all over the place. All my timers are all over the place. Oh my Atlanta. Rev, get your stuff together, son. Got to OS 53. Should I go to OS 54? If you're at 53, have you built your Nova? And have you built a 53 ship? If you have not, then I would say you should focus on those things first. So, yeah. All right, what else we got? I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. You don't know if 41 has ever had an incursion bye week? I don't know. To be honest, even though we've been tracking wins and losses, and we've been doing that for a consistent amount of time, I used to do it manually. Now we have STFC.WTF or STFC.PRO. They do it for us. Shout out to them. I don't think we've ever tracked who's getting the most bye weeks. I don't know that answer. You know, maybe that's something we can look into. I know my server 710 gets a lot of bye weeks and it's quite annoying. But I don't know how that is for everybody else. You're missing Ozzy? Yes. Rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne. He did pass away. So if you haven't listened to his basically the legitimate farewell tour, go give it a listen. Because Ozzy's no longer with us. Anyway, 61 has never had a bye week ever, Willie? Now, I guess we can tell bye weeks if we go to stfc.pro and we take a look at the scores. Oh, I forgot. stfc.pro is down right now for maintenance. My apologies. It will be back up. I'll let y'all know when it's back up, but it's down right now for maintenance. But we can use that site and check, okay, win-loss records and kind of use that to math out who has a, bye week or how many you've had. So I forgot we have maintenance right now on the site. Would you recommend pushing straight to 66 from 63 or pause each ops and min-max? If I'm being honest, Brandon, I'd go to 66 and get the rare ship. That's what I would do. Keep in mind that I would also encourage you to play G6 slower, especially with G7 on the horizon. Things are only going to get more pricey from here. But in terms of like what would be better for your account, just getting to 66, upgrading your cube, that just is a better play, right? Now, you still want to pick up, in my opinion, your 63s. You want to get those hazard resistance researches via the 63s, but going to 66 is the smarter play than just like min-maxing at 64, min-maxing at 65, etc. So, what's the date released on the new achievement system for STFC.PRO? We don't have a release date yet. I've not even finished making up all the achievements that we're going to use. So to be clear, that's a really cool feature we're working on. Just, I would ask y'all to bear in mind, people like myself, especially people like Chrono, Glare, the amazing people who are working on STFC.PRO, all volunteers. Like, nobody's getting paid for this. So, I mean, I guess I get paid for existing, and because generous people like you sign up on our website, revenues.com. Thank you for that. But no ETA, but it is something that we're very excited about. I'm very excited to partner with them and help with that. I love the idea. And I think that alone, I think seeing your actual progression will encourage people to move a heck of a lot more than Scopely is, because you'll be able to see in real time, like, hey, how am I progressing? For those who have no idea what we're talking about, I'm going to put on the screen some of the things that we're working on STFC.PRO. And I say we, to be very clear, this is Chrono's baby. I'm just a lucky part of it. But I want to show y'all some of the cool stuff that is in preliminary works. So we got alliance information pages. We've got personal account progression, tracking. All these are neat things that are in not even beta yet. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get some screenshots I can put up on the screen for y'all because I don't want to show certain things. Un momento, por favor. Oh, there we go. All right. I'm going to put all these on and we'll start taking a look at some of these. These are all things approved to share. Again, this shout out to our volunteer team who puts this together. So, for example, this is one of the things being worked on, tracking for your actual growth. 7-day, 30-day, and 90-day. So 1 week, 1 month, and 3-month growth. How are you growing compared to your peers in the game? You see it by a percentage in terms of power game, your daily averages, things like this. These are the type of things that we're working on that every individual account will be able to pull up. This is what Glare and Chrono specifically are working on. This is huge stuff. How do you get Harry Kim? There is a Voyager officer turn-in X-Borg. There is Harry Kim in the Gorn Eviscerator turn-ins. There is Harry Kim in the Artifact Gallery turn-ins. There are, I think, 7 different turn-ins for Voyager officers. We have a spreadsheet for all officer sourcing. So anyway, if you want to see how you're progressing, this is what that'll do. We also have achievements. Like I said, I'm working on a lot of achievements for things like mining, hostiles, sending alliance helps. Where are you currently ranking at with stuff like that? We're also working on these type of neat things, right? Alliance comparison tools, which I think is really cool. Shout out to Iron Armada, the Picard maneuver over on server 26, Faction X on server 32. All of these just being used for comparison. You'll see I don't think any of my alliances here, but they'd be really happy to see all these greens where they currently lead everywhere. I'm sure IA would love stuff like that. So these are all really cool, really awesome features that are being worked on that aren't released yet. So let me see if I can find that officer sourcing spreadsheet. Actually, Quazel, I saw you in the chat. Quazel, another one of our amazing volunteers. Quazel, could you by chance paste into the chat for Jacob the officer sourcing spreadsheet? I do have a video on that, Jacob. If you go on my, you go to my YouTube channel here, where you're already at, I have a video specifically about sourcing the Voyager officers. I would encourage you to watch it. But in that, we do use the spreadsheet for officer sourcing, and one of the volunteers hopefully can grab that real quickly and put it in the chat for you. Are we doing a video on the Ferengi Exchange mini event store? Yes. I'll be honest, I don't know when. I need to do that. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday. I have a backlog of videos I'm working on right now. But yes, I was going to. To be honest, I'll go ahead and give you a spoiler. Ship parts is really big for a lot of players. Ship parts is big if you're trying to speed up some of these ships that take a long time to upgrade, right? Like the NSEA takes a long time to upgrade. The Gorn Eviscerator takes a long time to upgrade, whereas other things don't take very long. For example, the Revenant. The Revenant, you, in my opinion, shouldn't invest in that because the Revenant doesn't take very long to upgrade. Revenant upgrade path is pretty fast. Other upgrade paths are very slow. And since we're getting multiple event store types lately, it makes sense to start looking at some of these other options to speed up your progression. And specialty ships is definitely a bottleneck for a lot of players in G4, G5, with just how slow it is to upgrade them. So definitely something to consider there while you are going through that. Okay, the feedback to the Overlords that the speed of the hostiles are getting a bit out of hand. The augments were too fast for efficient grinding, the same with the transigent hostiles. Get past that, John. I just don't really know if I'm on board with it, to be honest with you. I feel like I don't really feel like they're very fast hostiles. Ooh, I want to grab that and hope I don't get RNG'd. But, I mean, that said, sure. I mean, we could definitely discuss that. I think that you have so many things that boost impulse in the game. I question how much that's actually needed, but if that is a big feedback point that I start getting hundreds of players mentioning, then yeah, it's obviously worth bringing up. So I guess more of, if you're in the chat or you watch this video on the replay and you think that is a problem, like you really do believe that, look, I am not getting enough. I need more. I need better when it comes to my officers. Like, it's taking too long. Let me know. Or I'm sorry, not officers, to impulse speed. Let me know. I'll definitely throw that in. I'm not noticing that's a problem, even that on my level 34 account, which is obviously, for those who remember playing at that level, it's really, really slow. Crap, we're running armadas right now on my land, and nobody tells me anything anymore. Not that I asked them to, but still. Hold on 1 second. Uno momento, por favor. Let me go throw up a crew real quick. Oh, my Lanta. It doesn't matter what your name is, group. Just give me somebody. Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is. Just give me somebody to get up there. And we'll get this up there, and we'll run some of those. Abso-heckin-lutely we will. Abso-heckin-lutely we will. All right, there we go. But yeah, if y'all have that as a serious issue, please let me know. Impulse definitely not an issue for Riddles, because more issues than it benefits, like Arena. I think the big thing is, are you taking advantage as a player of all the impulse things that are available? So remember, there's impulse research in the Outlaw tree. Fleet Commander Lorca and Fleet Commander Kirk both give you impulse boost. Dane, the below deck ability of Dane, gives you impulse boost. So there's a lot of things that you can take advantage of there. If you still have all those things and you're like, hey, this is just a problem for me, I fully respect that. And we should talk about it, and we should bring it up. If that is something that you truly believe is an issue, it's worth bringing up. It's just more of, I want to make sure that when I'm bringing up issues with the Overlords, I'm speaking for everybody, or at least as many players as possible. Yeah, and an easy example of that is look at the recent events that we've been having, right? It's easy for us to say, look, these Flashpoint events have not been good, and here's feedback based on what players are saying. It's a very loud thing. Y'all been very loud that these have been problematic, that we have not had good scoring. Heck, no server yet has finished the IMS. And what did they do? Well, they provided feedback, they heard the feedback, and they've already made changes. If y'all missed that, they've already made some changes to how that format is going to work. And I'm not going to say that it's amazing, but how about we talk about what those changes are if you've missed them, right? The hostile speed is a problem when you queue 5 to 7 hostiles and get dragged all over the map. Queuing doesn't attack the next closest. It goes in order when selected. Now, Matt is correct on that. I'm doing that right here in the background. 100% accurate. And yeah, unless you've got a lot of impulse speed, keeping up can be a problem. So, Nemesis asks, why were they restricted? So what it really came down to, Nemesis, was impulse speed was getting so fast in arenas that there were desync issues. So sync issues, synchronization between client and server side. And the server side was not able to process quickly enough how fast and where player ships were located. So there was a pathway logic issue where things are moving so fast, the server was like, I can't keep up. Now, can we argue that they should pay for more hamsters? Sure. Other games do things like that, no problem. I'm just giving you the reason as to why. I agree. Pay for more hamsters, make your stuff be better. I'm sure everybody else agrees with that. But that, just to answer your question, the why. So, lucky if you can queue more than 3 before the Kashara breaks. The Kashara, for me, doesn't break super often, but it does break often. It breaks often enough to where if I had spent money on it, I would be very annoyed. I did not spend money on it, so I'm not very annoyed. If you spent money on it, you're very annoyed. Corey, good morning, my friend. Great to see you. They inferred we weren't happy? I don't know why they would ever think that. I don't either. As soon as I get into this system, going as fast as DDD will fly. They're like, we're waiting on Rev. I'm like, I'm coming. Yes, I want to repair. Now, that's an annoying bug that's been happening a lot lately. That one's been getting on my nerves. So, I can't pay for more hamsters because they blew their hamster budget on an Obsidian one. But thank you. Microshard only breaks in systems where the hostiles can disappear off the edge of the map. So, it actually just broke, but major things that can cause a break. A hostile despawning, a player intercepting your hostiles at certain time intervals, and off-map hostiles can break your Kashara. Those are probably the 3 most common. A lot of things that can break it, but I'd probably name those the 3 most common breaks for the Kashara artifact. And I don't know if or when those will ever get fixed. And if I'm being honest, I don't think it's ever getting fixed. If you're out there going, Rev, tell me the truth. The truth is, I don't think the Kashara will ever work perfectly. Just being honest, I don't think you're ever going to get that level of fix. So with that knowledge in mind, be wary of spending on it. I guess is what I'm saying. If you get it free to play, I 100% recommend getting it free to play in the Alliance Tournament store. Just be wary of opting to whip out ye old credit card. You might end up a little frustrated. So just a little bit. All right, let's go here. Also, Bear, can you show it off on stream? All right, Bear, by the way, has the new Vengeance that I'm sure y'all want to see out in space. So, I assume there was a large STFC population getting their free-to-play G31 ship shortly still have value. Absolutely. The GS31 definitely has value. It has a lot of value in PvP arenas and PvP, but more specifically, the GS31 is very valuable for its refinery. That is where the GS31 shines. And again, we can talk about one-trick ponies. I'm 100% there. Completely get it. Ship parts, officer sourcing, and then it has research. I mean, get it, one-trick pony, yada, yada, 100%. Not arguing all those things. Just simply saying, if that is something for you, or maybe you've got the time, right? You've done your other specialty ships, I would recommend getting it. Jacob, go to my YouTube channel, like in my YouTube channel, hit search and look up Voyager or Janeway officers, and it should come up pretty recently. Travis says that his GS31 is 2.7 billion, and they use it as their main grinding ship for everyday stuff. It does get decently big. I wouldn't say it gets huge. It does get decently big, right? Now, it's not bigger than my Nemesis over here. Look at that beautiful, man. That, come on, look at that. Hold on. Uno momento, por favor. Look at that. Oh, my Lanta. Velox has no chance when the Nemesis comes prowling around. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're one of those players where, what the heck, did we speed this? Okay, we did speed this. I see another one spawn and I'll launch it. But if you're one of those players that doesn't invest heavily in faction ships and you're just trying to move up ops very quickly, you can use specialty ships like the GS-31 to keep it moving. So, absolutely. Oh, there's a cube. We get a spawn yet? We did not get a spawn. All right, so for those that don't know what our alliance is doing, you see them killing hostiles. Remember what we talked about game design a couple weeks ago. You can help use hostiles to force respawn things like armadas. There's a limited number of things that will spawn in a system. And there we go. So with a limited number of things that'll spawn, clearing out hostiles and stuff can help populate those armadas faster. Populate those armadas faster. Let me go ahead and get the queue set back up for this. And then we'll also read those changes to the upcoming Flashpoint stuff as soon as I want to show off Bear's Vengeance. For those who haven't seen a USS Vengeance in the wild yet, I want to show that off. It's not here yet, don't worry. But don't worry, Bear likes showing off. It's kind of his thing. He likes it. He'll do it for us, I promise. Found it. It's 2 years ago. I've won way more recent than that, Jacob. I've won way more recent than that. Velox only has 90% health, doesn't count. Yep. Only 90% health doesn't count. How you doing, Not Human? Good to see you. GS-31 still only ship not available in the event stores. Well, that's because it's so recent, Charlie. And how it typically works is it takes 2-ish event stores, which is usually about 4 months, before a ship gets added in. That's usually the path, right? It takes a few months before they add into the event store, and that's the pretty consistent pathing. Pretty consistent path. What's up, Sabers? How you doing? Tribune looks huge. The Tribune is large on the map. Sadly, not as the size doesn't really help it, to be honest, but it looks really. All right, that got bloated up. Getting these scored. I will launch. I think I've got like 5 launches. How many launches do I have? Let's see. Yeah, I've got several launches. We'll get those running. Or what was that? 7 launches I'm sitting on. Thank you, OGOP. I greatly appreciate it. Can you remember what it's called? Jacob, like I said, man, no, I've told you what to search for. But if you really want to wait, hit me up on Discord later and I'll shoot it to you directly. But I can't interrupt stream because we have 450 people here, and I want to make sure I try to hit everybody. So, greetings, Doug. Welcome in. That big ship arrived. I'm waiting. Bear, you have 500 adoring fans waiting on your vengeance. We crave it. Oh, crap. Armada. Did I get it first? Nope. Somebody else got it. Frickin' Doss. Show us plebs what real power looks like. There we go. Yeah, hit me up on Jacob. Hit me up on Discord. Anybody is welcome to hit me up on Discord. Always welcome. My DMs are always open. I'll respond to them as quickly as I can. My goal is to be more active and more responsive than Scopely customer service. So while we're here and while we're waiting on Bear, here are the changes coming to the Flashpoint Invasion events for those who haven't seen it yet. Here are the changes. So there will no longer be 4 stages to the IMS. They are completely dropping a stage, which I think is good. Stage 1 of the IMS will be scored off defeating the dropships, which was normal. Stage 2 will be scored off for acquiring refined isogen. We've removed the mandatory Flashpoint invading entities, Stage 3. So we'll be introducing a new solo milestone and Alliance leaderboard event dedicated to defeating the entities. So no more for the IMS will you be expected to do the entities. I think that's a massive improvement. Wasn't hard to improve it because Flashpoints was really, really bad. It was called trash points for a reason. But this is a massive improvement to the IMS scoring. We're removing the chained SMS events. These events will now be replaced by a regular daily solo milestone, heroic dropships, and transigen mining. Alongside some event changes, we'll also be adding 2 new exocomps, transigen hazard resistance and flashpoint damage increase exo. So those are the major changes. Those are the major changes happening. Now again, this is an example of feedback working. We can definitely argue should never have happened in the first place. Very predictable that these problems were going to happen. But those are the changes that are occurring, and those are literally the type of changes we were asking for. So I'm happy that they're happening, but I am still angry, still frustrated that it happened in the first place. Very predictable that this was going to be a problem. But here we are. At least it's been changed. We'll see if that gets people to really participate more. For me, I do the flashpoints for the rewards, and that's it. Like, I get my rewards done because I want the premium mirror dust. How that ends up affecting the IMS, I'll be honest, I don't really care right now. I'm not trying to be a butt face. I don't really heckin' care. However, it affects the IMS. Do I want the IMS to happen? Yes. Do I really care? No, because they've already burned me out on it. We'll see how it looks at the relaunch, and we'll go from there. That is going to be tomorrow is when Flashpoint starts again. The next Flashpoint event will be tomorrow at event reset. Those will be the changes that you see, and we'll go from there. So, played an online game with a week-long Incursions, PvE server daily leaderboards till the crossover event. Well, that's kind of what's happening here, Chris, to an extent of what they're doing for this run, at least what they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, it's basically just glorified XSLBs to get you to spend materials and stuff. But it at least is adding a little bit more reward structure for participation in events. It's optional events for people to do. Key on optional. Key on optional. So, you mentioned hazard protection buffs in the Sunday stream. Yes. So again, this was major feedback that I know I presented, Lube presented. We were actually talking about it on Lube's stream yesterday on his Twitch stream. These are all things that everybody were universally like, hey, these have got to change. These have got to happen to make this even somewhat viable. So here we are today. Was I the only 42 scrub that couldn't beat any of the 40 hostiles? I wouldn't say you're the only one, Jen. Definitely not. These new drop ships were definitely difficult, especially if you were missing certain officers and certain FTs and CTs. So, yeah. You're not alone is what I'm saying. All the new content the last 2 years, do you think Scope is deliberately making faction ships less fun, important, necessary? Not at all, Greg. I just think that their goal of making money has side effects that they are not trying to do. But this is also why special ships will be one-trick pony type things, right? It's why the GS31 has uses, but it is not meant to replace. Like, we had a player here that was talking about they use the GS31 as their main ship. And while I'm not saying that player is bad, they're not. They're not at all. They won't beat my Rotari, right? No offense to them. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just simply saying this is how Scopely will scale things. You'll look at things like the GS31 and even the Reliant can get decently sized in G6, but they purposely, you could almost call it nerf them to make sure they never overcome completely a faction ship. Now, they can be strong enough to where you have success. Oh, come on, Rep. Y'all got to do better than that. You can be strong enough to have success with them. One spot in mind. But you're not going to be able to do everything easily by using only special ships. But again, that is not to say that the special ships are bad. GS31 definitely gets strong, has a lot of good uses, and you can take advantage of that. It's how you want to play your game, right? I'm more just speaking of that is how Scopa designs things. And they specifically will make sure that the Crenshaw is still the top dog. Well, not counting what they're trying to do with the Vengeance. They'll make sure that when they design a G4 special ship, that the G4 still is stronger level to level, even if it's only an incremental increase. So, anyway, every generation you change made it harder too. I just got the Kaskari and the Tier 5 and the 66 Suliban runners only. Yeah, that is pretty tough. Poor Rep. They didn't finish, so they lost their Armada. It's a bummer. All right, as soon as this person gets in here, I will speed. And also still waiting on Bear to show us his stuff. I want to see it. All right, here we go. Speed. Faction ships benefit from faction research. True. And remember, there's a lot of faction research out there. Like I talk about all the time. How many times have I told people in this chat who are regulars? Focus on your ISO. Well, what's part of focusing on your ISO? Crenshaw. I was hoping it was something else. Part of focusing on your ISO is there's ISO specific for faction ships that aren't available for everything else. Right? So you're not going to get those bonuses on the GS31. But that doesn't mean the GS31 is bad. So While Crenshaw is way stronger, its late firing pattern means the GS31 can do better in some cases. True. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that sets specialty ships apart versus G6 faction ships is that the G6 faction ships as a whole have terrible firing patterns. G6 faction ships are strong because they have stupid high stats. Like when a GS31, or let's use the Vengeance fires 20 shots in 2 rounds. Well, a Crenshaw and an Enterprise E and a Scimitar do not do that. It'd be nice if they did, but they don't. So that will always be a failing of G6 ships, no matter when anybody plays them. 3 years from now, that will be a failing of those ships. So they're just not going to make the firing pattern better. Now, you can improve the firing pattern with certain things like maybe FTs, CTs, fleet commanders, but firing pattern is just boo-boo. So Quasar says, in G6, a max GS31 is very viable. I agree. I just don't think it's going to top out. Again, if we're comparing top to top. But that also brings up the argument that many players right now are not making their G6 ships top. Like, you're not taking your Koskari to tier 15, right? You're taking it to tier 9. You're not taking your Akira to tier 50. You're taking it to tier 9. And the GS31 will outperform. Just like my Rotaran and my Enterprise D and my Dodera decks will outperform the 63 uncommons that this account will have. These will be outperformed. So, part of it. What's up with the G6 cargo size? So Zod, that is because they redid the actual economy in the game for G6. They rebalanced it and made things cost less in terms of like numerical values. Like that's popping off now. So you have lower numerical values that you have to obtain, but the flip side of that meant, well, if you needed something in the millions, now you have lower cargo sizes and things like that. So that's also why the main thing that I'm OPC hunting right now in the game are Selkies that are OPC. Dang, DMFL got it quick. I'm hunting OPC Selkies in the new transition space, but it's really hard to find an OPC USS Beatty or an OPC Nova. But Selkies are OPC everywhere. And if you've got a decent PvP crew on a 500 million ship, or even as low as a 300 million ship, you're gonna be able to OPC hunt those Selkies, which I think is great. The Selkie owners tend to not really like that. They kind of get frustrated by it, but that's the answer. Can you have Scopa answer why the GS31 has a punch-up tax on the beam that was never disclosed? I mean, I don't honestly see the point in that, Snoot. I just feel like that's just you being frustrated, valid, but just like the Cube has a beam tax, I didn't expect the GS31 to not have a beam tax. But sure, should it have a disclosure? Sure, but I mean, I don't really feel like that's something for me to go after them over, if I'm being honest. There are way too many things to go after them over. Like, for example, free SLB, right? That is something that still needs to be shot at, and hopefully more people get behind me on it, that the SLB taking away previous generation spin is terrible, bad, and should be fixed. I think that is way more important. Way more important. Like, I get it. Cool. Scopa does frustrating things, but that's never going to change. And that's also why I'm still trying to be so loud and so verbal about this. Like, I say it so much. Ignore FOMO, have fun, because what you see in STFC, for the grander part, will not change, right? You can get small changes in STFC, like what we just saw with the Flashpoint events, but you're not going to get sweeping huge changes. You're not going to get fundamental changes to how this game operates. I was talking to a level 7. He was like, man, with the amount of people who are frustrated in G6, you would think they would stop down the monetization. But the truth is, it's the exact opposite. When you make over 2 million gross revenue just selling the Reliant, when you have people, and I'm not shaming, this is y'all's money, spend it how you want to. When you have people willing to spend $10,000 just to unlock the USS Vengeance, why in the heck would you change your format? That's just the truth of it. It's not shaming. I have no ill will or negative things to say about level 70s or any G6 player who spends. It's your money. Spend it how you want to. But why would Scopely change? Now, do I hope that they get a wake-up call like when I scream at them that they've lost 10,000 players? Absolutely. So there's the middle ground to be found. Do I believe that I can get them to fundamentally change? No. Do I believe I can get them to change enough to keep free-to-play happy-ish? Yes. That's the key. Happy-ish. But I don't believe I can get them to core change who they are. They will never change who they are at their core, but we can still get enough good changes to make it worth dealing with those bad things. That's how I view Scopely and how they run STFC. So, round one per weapon and round by round chart comparisons of the big PvP ships. If you're curious, Pseudo, I'm curious. Send it to me, big dog. I'd like to see it. I would like to see that. Heck, I'll put it on the screen if you want to show it. I love showing off data. We like data around here. Does research impact on power? Absolutely. Yeah, every research will adjust your power some degree. Let's see, we got 5 spots. Let me go ahead and speed this up. Now, I didn't realize they were also running on uncommon. How far would you tier up the G5 uncommon ships? So, James, I operate by a method that I created called 579. Tier 5, Tier 7, Tier 9. And that works for basically everything G3 up into G5. Not really super applicable for G6, but still kind of applicable for G6. G6 changes a little bit. But Tier 5, if you want to just make sure that you can cover your dailies, basic hostile grinds, take on most loops for your level, and progress in the game fine. But will have really low cost. Tier 7, if you want to have better warp range, probably do significantly better, like against Augment Exile hostiles, things like that. And then Tier 9, if you want to take that into PvP. And no, over mountain minis, I will not curve my brim because I don't want to sleep with my sister, right? Curving your brim and putting a fishhook in it, I'm not into that. I'm into actually looking good and not into my family. But no judgment, it's just not for me, you know, so I keep my hats nice. But good to see you, welcome in. It's always great to have new people here, so good to see you. You gotta watch out, them gingers have quick wit. They'll hit you real quick. All right, anyway, my 579, Tier 5 will get your basics done, costs very little. Tier 7, again, if you wanna have better warp range and do well against armadas, or at least better, especially reach better armadas. And then Tier 9, if you wanna dedicate that ship to PvP. Never required, but it's a good idea. So, yeah, Overmount, it's okay. You're super old. I get it. Back in your day, hats were made out of like denim and fabric that you had to sew yourself and you had to weave it and everything. And you didn't have a choice. Hats had to be bit. That's just how God made them. Well, thankfully, we've progressed technologically, spiritually, metaphysically. We're in a greater state of mind now. We don't have to have that good stuff. But it's okay. I understand you're from a different time period, right? You probably had to crank your car to get going. You probably have a horse somewhere. I understand. And I still love you for it. I added some twang to be more familiar with it. Hopefully that helps us relate. Do appreciate y'all. And for everybody who doesn't know, these are all jokes. Y'all are allowed to laugh. I know in 2025 it feels dangerous. Like, am I allowed to do that? You feel like somebody's gonna bang down your door. We can make some jokes and we can have some fun. Okay, it's okay. So, Caledon says, I gotta get the Koskara to Tier 9 next month. Didn't want to blow my load on one SLB. Fair. And so my 579 method does change a little bit in G6 because so much of your G6 success is currently tied to things like the cube. So like if you did the Tier 579 method in G6, you're basically never upgrading your cube, thus taking away what is arguably your strongest ship in mid and upper G6. Not to throw shade at things like the GS31, which again, I agree, are very, very nice. Just more of my point, my 579, if you stuck to it religiously, would hurt you in G6 because you need to get to Tier 9s to upgrade your cube, which then becomes significantly stronger than whatever you just had at Tier 9. And again, any G6 player, feel free to back up what Rev is saying with your own experiences. So there's an argument to be made for maybe doing 579 on a 63 uncommon, and you can kind of like get away with waiting for your cube to be great, but you absolutely can't do that at 66 and definitely wouldn't do it at 70 either. You want to have that cube as high as it can go. So just things to keep in mind. Rack your brain on those things. All right, let me see if everybody's in my spots. Nope, I got spots. We got 3 spots up. We'll give everybody a chance to get in here. Yeah, T15 plus cube. Correct. All right, let's see. We got good numbers here. We like this numbers. All right, so I like these numbers. All right, so let's put this on the screen. Now, This is from Pseudo. For those that don't know, we have amazing volunteers who are always helping out, so I always try to thank them. But this gives you an example of the GS31 versus the Cube versus the Koskari versus the Crenshaw in terms of damage output by the end of round 2. But keep in mind, this is assuming that the fight is short, right? What makes things like the Crenshaw great is large whole health numbers at high tiers, meaning it can survive a long time. But if we're talking about shorter fights especially, GS31 puts out more DPR. So this is just one visual example for round 2. We have a lot of examples here, so we can pull up round 4. So exactly what I predicted would happen. If we pull up round 4, you can see Crenshaw takes the lead over the GS31, but we have to get a few rounds to get there. So the whole idea of the firing pattern of G6, for those who don't know, the idea Scopely had was fights weren't going long enough. So back in the day, what had happened was they created all these new things. They power creeped everything so much that PvP fights for regular ships were going down to like 1-round fights or whoever attacked first and no round at all. And Scopely said, let's fix that by just backing up how much things fire. We're going to back up how much things fire. And in theory, that's great. Here's the problem with the theory. Well, the theory is immediately destroyed by the fact that G5 epics still exist. Like, these didn't just like disappear off the face of the earth. So now their firing pattern, which still has the OG firing patterns, absolutely just waylays almost every 63 ship is going to get immediately destroyed by my Rotaran, and most 66s I run into will be destroyed by my Rotaran. Again, most. If you get your Velox to tier 12, 15, you're going to whoop me down. But you got to invest heavily to beat me because my firing pattern is simply better. Now, what you don't see is that same problem if you have intergenerational fighting. So if G6 fights G6, you get exactly what Scopely wanted. Longer fights, things going 8, 10, 12 rounds sometimes, depending on what ships we're talking about. And Scopely got what they wanted, but then you insert things like the Cube, the GS31, the Vengeance, and that really throws things off. Kevin, I've beaten a tier 11 Velox, but I will openly say I will lose to most tier 11 Veloxes. The strength you'll get, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Once you get into those upper tiers, those double-digit tiers, is you just get such high DPR and such high hull health, I just can't outlast a Velox once it gets so high tiered. But in terms of my firing pattern will always be better than a Velox. Always. Just will always be superior. Nobody else coming? So I guess I'm just going, did we launch another one? Or did we launch somebody somewhere else? Oh, they're launching stuff way out there now. Okay, cool. I'll just go ahead and run this. And then I'll actually pull up a Velox example for you to see. And Bear hasn't said his Vengeance yet, so let's see if we can find the Vengeance. But let me show you, and again, I'm going to show y'all a lower tier Velox, but I want to show it to show my point, not to say that I'm king of all Veloxes. This is just, hey, here's level 67 with a Velox, tier 9, right? Tier 9 Velox had no shot. Why did it have no shot, even though it's 7 billion power stronger? Well, because it's firing pattern. And if we come in here, you're going to see we get down. Yes, I attack first, blah, blah, blah. But there's its Velox shots. There's its Velox shots. And then you're just going to start seeing more and more rev. Way more rev shots. Way more rev shots. Way more rev shots. I'm simply going to outfire it. And even though it can put out good damage, I mean, it's not putting out bad damage. It's not putting out bad damage. Although I am still putting out better damage. Point is, firing pattern will always win. Generally speaking. Generally speaking. And yeah, we could definitely talk about research, all that, but his research isn't terrible. I mean, he's got 350 ISO, which is not great for 66, but I've seen, or 67, I've seen way worse, bro. I've seen 67s who have 100% ISO. So he's not terribly lacking, right? Main thing is, I don't think he has Joaquin below Dex. Well, yeah, I don't see Joaquin below Dex. And that, I think his below Dex is lacking more than anything else. But the main point is firing pattern is what makes that possible, is what I'm really trying to get across. We're not shaming that player. we're just talking about G5 ships versus G6 ships. What has the advantage and why? That is why the G5 epics have the advantage. It's why in my G6 checklist, for the first time ever, Rev said you should really max out an epic ship before going into the next thing. I've never done that before. I have never told players at level 50 or level 39, because even at 39, I said, well, take your Enterprise to tier 8 and then just get the warp upgrade. And that was just for a warp range purpose. But now, because of how the game is currently set up, your G5 epics will last you level 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. You know, they'll be your primary workhorse. And they just do so well. And the firing pattern is why they can have success in G6. It's the exact same way or reason that the GS31s can have success in G6. Better firing pattern, more damage early on. So. What are these arenas of which you speak? Oh, y'all are talking about something else. Good to see you, Brandon. Can't wait for the next incursion against Rev Server. I want to hit his route with my GS. And that's fair, Stu. Look, I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like I can beat everything. I can beat most, but I can't beat everything. I still personally believe I am way behind on a lot of things, that there are things that I can be better on. And it's that continual need and desire to be better that, you know, brings me a lot of enjoyment. I enjoy that process. You know, personal achievements and personal goals do a heck of a lot more for me than anything Scopely's ever tried to get me to do. And Scopely just tends to get on my nerves in terms of like their events and stuff. But my personal milestones, yeah, I enjoy those. Would an average G5 epic be successful against an average Velox? Yes, if they follow the path I'm teaching, absolutely. The key is they have to follow the path I'm teaching. Like, you can't just rush to 60, have 50% ISO damage, and somehow made your way to a tier 10 Rotard and it's only 1.9 billion power and expect you to do well. It all works together. But anybody that follows my content and follows my advice, I figure will follow my advice. So if you've done what I've done, then yes, you absolutely have the same results I will. I am not special. I am not unique. I am just a ginger who surprisingly has a soul and is able to have success in this game by following certain patterns and methods. Has the Ferengian Premium Opportunity Chest work? So if you've gotten any of that currency we wrote, you have to purchase the premium chest in the store, and then you can use that currency. It is a pay-to-use currency. Ooh, I just got killed by a cloaked ship. I know who it was. It was DMFL. We've been sniping each other all day long, every day. Oh, let me bring my ship up there real quick. I'll look. First off, a cloaked Akira. Really? Just who cares about Canon anymore? Nobody. Nobody cares about Canon but Rev. That's really annoying. Why does nobody care about Canon? But anyway, don't worry. My Rotaran's coming. It's fine. Akira, I don't. Yeah. Oh, it's cool. Unless they're watching the stream, then they're gone by now. But unless they're watching the stream, here, watch. Boop. They're not going to even see me coming. Shh. We're hunting wabbits. Shh. Hunting wabbits. All right. Let's go see what we can see. You know, a player that uses his Kira and takes out most players with it. And exactly, Robert. If you know how the game works in terms of ISO Cascade, Apex Barrier, you've got good FTs and CTs, because I don't even have Quantum Slipstream. I want to throw that in. Like when I'm talking about being able to beat these high tier ships, to be very clear, Rev doesn't even have the top meta stuff. The Quantum Slipstream, which is now free to playable, is the best singular item in the game. Hands down. Not even a debate. It's the best singular item in the game. I don't even have it. And I still will beat tier 9, tier 10, tier 11 Veloxes, depending on who it is. So there are ways that Rev could be significantly better than he is, and he has to get better. All right, let's see. Oh, there it is. I knew it was Fins. I knew it was Fins. And he's still sitting here. Look at him. Look at yourself. Just look at yourself. Go put that thing back in the hangar. Get it out of here. Bye. Get it out of here. You don't need it. Go away. Bye. Yum, yum. Thank you. Please and thank you. Real question is, do I show up cloaked in his log? Because that would be hilarious. Oh, you are trying to shout to you. Look, and I have great fun with DMFL. I have great interactions with them. I enjoy that they're willing to PvP with me, OPC hunt with me. I love that. I love that. Savage Uber service. Yeah. Quantum Slipstream on a max Roddy can get you to at least 65. Yeah. And I'm working on getting it. I just don't have it yet. And I have to slow play it because I don't have a great drip of epic credits yet. So when I come into my Quantum Slipstream, I get it one at a time, and that's going to take quite some time. Assuming they don't add additional sourcing paths for me to go after. But it's still worth going after. It's still absolutely worth going after. We got 2 of these things going? Jeez, you rich son of a guns. Worst mistake was getting Akira. I don't agree with that. I really don't. You know, it's again, it goes back to understanding why are G6 ships the way that they are, strong or otherwise. I don't agree that it's a mistake to get them. I think it's more about understanding how they work. Just understand that a 63 uncommon is designed and really effective for really one thing, PvE. You will really not be disappointed in terms of PvE content. The Akira, Minerva, Negvar, they're all basically like getting a Vorchak Corvus or a Northcut. We can argue one's slightly better than the other. The main thing you're doing with those is getting hazard research, doing PvE content, and upgrading your cube. And as long as that is the paradigm you hold, you'll never be disappointed. If you go in expecting anything more, then you're going to be like, crap, I feel like I didn't get what I wanted. I didn't get what I paid for, etc., etc. So, and yeah, Eddie, I've been working on my Zen Deep. Good reminder. Remember, everybody, you want to get that premium mirror currency. Zen Deep is how you do it every single week. So, yeah, I mean, you want to still get those Akiras and those Minervas because you want all those bonuses. But I understand that, especially if you're like Rev and you're a PvP player, if you go in with the expectation of, I have a 6 billion Akira, why am I losing? You're going to be frustrated. I 100% get that, right? You know, I get it completely. And I try to tell everybody, friend and foe, enemies alike, like DMFL comes in here for the stream, I'll give them advice. If you're going to leave a PvP ship out, never let it be your Minerva, your Akira, etc. It always needs to be your Rotaran or your Enterprise D, whatever you have that has a better firing pattern that will beat me. Because there are players like that 67 I fought earlier that I showed the log to that is a tier 9. I'm very confident he rolls out his max Rotaran with QSS on it, he'll whoop my butt. 100% believe it. But I caught him trying to guard his Selkie with a Velox, and I just knew I had it, and it looks really cool. Like when you're able to take something that's 3 times stronger than you, it looks really cool. Right? And to add, like what Pseudo is saying, your below deck has become just as, if not more important than anything else. This is no longer really an officer's game. Yes, IST is still arguably the best singular PvP crew in the game at the moment, but you can have IST and then have no PvP FTCT and crappy below decks and not have success. So it's a balance of, you know, finding all these different things and working and just finding matchups that you can have success with. And that goes down to G4 players as well. So if you're a G4 player out there, you're like, Rev, I feel like PvP is not for me. It is. It's just, you got to find the method that works for you. And a lot of it is, we were talking like getting those Voyager officers for Jacob earlier. Well, that's PvE, but PvP, there are still methods you can get Echab and Tuvok right now free to play, right? And anybody that's a PvP would tell you the 2 best below deck officers in the game, at least number 1 best below deck officer in the game is Echab. You have Gwen DeMarco for ISO Cascade. We have Apex Shred, also very good. But Echab you can get maxed out in a couple of months if you're doing your solo armadas, your solo waves, and that is huge. That alone is a drastic improvement for most players in their PvP performance, right? So it's just finding those things that can make you better. Like Steven said, Wrath of Khan Joaquin, which is on my ship right here. I don't have it maxed out. I'm working on it. I don't have it yet, but that's another major officer for the game. Are your IST officers maxed? They are not. No, I do not have maxed IST. I would love to have maxed IST. I will show you where mine's at because I know people look at some of my things and they think that I'm special. I'm not special. I'm rocking tier 3 officer. So let's go down to IST. Where are you at, IST? Gold Ducat, tier 2. Andy Billups, tier 3. Garrick, tier 3. I don't have maxed IST. Does max IST do better? 100%. Definitely max out your IST. I don't have that. I'm rocking tier 3s. right? So, because like you, I'll run into issues like maybe I don't have command badges, maybe I just don't have the shards, right? All these different things that I run into that you run into. But it's having all these little pieces together is what leads to higher success or better returns, however you want to word it. So you're special to us. Thank you, Stephen. You're very kind. You're very kind. Thank you. I can tell your mother did not drop you as a child like mine did to me, and I am appreciative of that fact. Away team research tree favors are awesome. Yeah, agreed. 100%. So RNG'd right there because I don't feel like swapping crews around because I'm lazy. Some of you might relate to that. Many of you out there in chat today might be lazy. But it's like I'll also tell people, what's the first thing I said in away teams? Number 1, get to your rare missions. Well, what's number 2? Get your rep up and get here to Khan's priority favor. Because this every day gives me currency to do more research, to upgrade officers, etc. You can see I'm also working on strike team crew allocation. I wonder why I'm working on that, because it's so hard to max out officers. So all of these are things that you can slowly do to make your stuff better than it was before. It just takes the time to do it. Just takes the time to do it. How many officers do you still need to unlock? Sure, I'll show you my have not unlocked list. I guess I can just scroll down to the bottom. I do not have Mirror Troy, Wrath of Khan Savik, Specialist 7, Strange New World Scotty, Strange New World T'Pring, Strange New World Jacques, and Data. On this account anyway. There are other accounts that I have. Like I have some of these on other accounts. But anyway, the one y'all see every day. That's what I got. That's what I got. How close am I? All right, 4,000. So I get 900 a day of this currently with that favor. That data is just not going to happen. It's because I never do the away team. Honest to goodness, that's what that comes down to. I just don't do the away team. If I would do the away team mission, I probably would have had him by now. I just always see it and I never do it. I never do it. And that's probably stupid. I just don't do it. I see the away team and go, I don't want my guys to be gone for 3 days. No, thank you. And I skip it. I should probably just go ahead and do that. I don't have enough for that yet. I need to go check my faction store and see if I've got a pull I can make. I do have a pull I can make. That. Take it, please, and thank you. Problem with all these divisions for officers, the badge sourcing is not keeping pace. Cal, I'll be honest, I don't really agree with that. Because if you are doing your Apex Thursday, you're doing your disco, you're in event stores now, they're there to be sourced. There just might be things that you say, hey, I feel like this is more valuable and I'm devoting currency to something else. I feel like players can get them now. It's just being picky on what you want. I think the biggest thing is most folks are upgrading everything, which I understand with the mess hall you want to, but relaunch already? Oh, Lanta. Berger's AFK'd on me. Freaking bear. Wanna see that venge. Freaking bear AFK'd on me. The only officer you don't find sourcing is Tal, and Tal is not sourced in the game. Nor will he likely be sourced in the game. So, nor will he likely be sourced. People should know their limits and plan accordingly. 100% agree. At the same time, I also want to acknowledge that that's a difficult task with Star Trek Fleet Command as a company, purposely always like forcing and pushing that idea of you need to level up, you need to do more, etc. That's a scope of it. That's what the game is pushing, and it's tough to really counter that. Like, I know that I'm fighting a losing battle, but it's my hope that the 450 crazy lovable people here today hear what I'm saying, and hopefully I help some of them. Hopefully I help some of them. Right? As long as I can help somebody enjoy the game, avoid the FOMO, have fun, I'm doing my job. Also, if you're here, over 400 of you crazy lint lickers, hit the like button. It's greatly appreciated. Whether you bend your brim or you keep it straight like a normal human being, I love you, I appreciate you, and I thank you so much because everybody here is supporting my family, whether you realize it or not. Hitting the like button, leaving comments on videos, watching every video. Those who go to revdeuce.com and sign up as a monthly supporter. All of it is appreciated. It's never required, but I do want to say thank you that y'all would do that. Also, really want to point out that if you want to get access to more Rev, more things, more podcasts, more videos, check out sponsoring us or checking us out on RevJuice.com. And if you're a business out there that wants to have a sponsorship, I give great rates with good reach. So hit me up. There's my plug. I plug myself once a stream. Y'all can get over it, okay? Take the panhandle and put the money in it. Anyway, Scopely aims to frustrate you into spending exactly what they do. Right? And to be fair, that's not just Scopely. That's every that is the free-to-play model of the gaming world. That's just where we are in gaming. Do I want that to change? Absolutely. Like you, I don't want that to keep being a thing. It annoys the fire ever-loving apple cider out of me that every game wants me to spend $5 million. It does. I'm right there with you. But all I can do is try to educate, help people be better at their game, have fun. That's all I can do. You gotta spend money on me? Well, thank you, Boba Fett. I appreciate that. Every bit goes to support my kids. Right now, we're gonna have to get school supplies and new clothes for 3 children. But it is what it is, right? Anybody that has kids knows that just spending on shoes for 3 kids is gonna cost you $50. Welcome to being a parent in 2025. But I'm still very blessed, and I have all of you to thank for that. So thank you so much. If you just come here and you're like, Rev, you're a content creator, and I think that's not a real job. Cool. Like the video. You don't have to send me money. Thank you for being here. Everybody helps out. Appreciate you. Kevin says 50 a piece. Look, I was trying to be cheap and conservative, but yeah, y'all know what it's like. So anybody that has kids knows that my back to school fund right there is an accurate pricing. So, but I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you. My biggest issue with the game is higher level players coming after me just for the fun of it. I don't have cargo or anything, just going to do a mission. Yeah, I can understand that being frustrating. I really can. I can definitely get that being frustrating. So, won't counter that at all. I do need to go and pull these boxes so y'all can see me pull these wonderful, wonderful boxes. I love these boxes now that we can actually source these directives. Oh, I can only do one. We'll see how many people end up running that because I like double pull now. Oh, I want to double pull both of them though. I've got so many of these to run. I think I'm going to try to double pull them. I think we're going to try to double pull. Walmart specials are 16. Yeah, the last shoes I bought for my daughter were Walmart. She got some bluey shoes and then some white sandals. They were like 12, 13 bucks a piece. Problem with Walmart shoes is they last like 3 months and then they unravel into a ball of yarn. But that's just part of it. If you put Epic and Stranger World Chapel on the same ship, do you get their combined ISO damage? Yes, they do stack, Miss Joanne. Good to see you, by the way. Always a pleasure. They do stack. Let's see if there's one up here. If I can launch another rare. Then we'll bring this up here. Good to see you, Psycho. Welcome. Got 80 for one. Dang, Corey. So Corey's out here buying like name brand sneakers for his kids. More power to you. I'm over here trying to get them a year's worth of shoes at Walmart or like Rolling Hills, which is the name of one of our, it's not a consignment shop. It's kind of like a nice Goodwill. So. Bacon says their most recent change to the event thing looks like it should be good. We did talk about that earlier. I think it's an improvement. How good it'll be, we'll see. Also, I gave a shout out to BRS for donating on our website, RevJuice.com. Thank you. They just donated the first dollars to our Raising Money for the Kids Fund. Thank you very freaking much. It just showed up on the screen. I appreciate you. Thank you for loving on me and my family. He gets what you get him. Well, heck, for 80 bucks, how can you be upset? Sounds like a good deal to me. All right, dang it. They've already got them all running. They got them running. I have to wait for another one to spawn. Dag nabbit. Oh! Adam gave me Bear's base, but let's see if the Vengeance is in it. Is the Vengeance in the base? Can't scan it because he's got a shield up. Son of a biscuit eater. All right, well, I'm just going to have to do a video on the Vengeance with Bear later. Darn, darn, darn. Darn, darn, darn. We'll do it later. Oh, there it is. He's here. Hey, look, there it is. Oh, look. Here we go. We're going to go park next to it. Hey, he finally woke up. The great rumbling bear has awoken. There you go. Bottom slipstream, Echo Papa, predictable. Let's see what we're rocking down here. 540 ISO, not too bad. Below deck spots, only 3 of them, but I mean, low tier. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A wild vengeance. Baby vengeance. A wild vengeance indeed. There y'all go. A vengeance in the wild. What a great way to wrap up our stream. Checking out Bear's Vengeance in the Wild. And that's a baby one. Baby Vengeance. 130 billion whole health. That sounds nice. That's 127 billion more than mine. So there you go. Attack it. Well, he's in my alliance. I can't attack it. So you order your kid's shoes off Amazon. That's honestly something we've been looking at as well, Pseudo. So yeah, we'll check it. Ship in battle. Oh, Melanthal. What'd he hit? Oh, that's why he's over here. Oh, he's picking on DMFL. Oh, well, we missed him just cracking a base. I assume he just zeroed out this 62. Or did he zero out the 56? Either way, he went into combat. Yikes. Yeah, y'all might want to watch out for any vengeances you see. Odds are you're not going to beat him. Oh, crap. We launched an armada over here. Let's go. Let's go. Anyway, y'all. Hope y'all have enjoyed the stream. I'm always appreciative, y'all. Thank y'all so much for the love and support. I'm going to wrap it up for the day. I'll be streaming again on Twitch here in about 3.5 hours if y'all want to come hang out over there. We'll be doing some War Thunder and then, of course, STFC after. Live long and plunder. Stay safe out there. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel, liked the video, followed, talked, asked questions, chatted, corrected me when I'm wrong, and appreciated my gingerness. I thank all of you for being who you are. Appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Again, be here quite soon. So hit me up on Discord if you need anything.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.